Then on the Thursday, we had the parade.
Yeah.
So everyone's back on it, on the parade, on the bus. And there's one thing that always sticks out to me, I can say it. Danny had someone gave us these cheap bottles of like champagne or whatever it was. And I remember sat in the front of the bus with Danny, and we'd obviously all been drinking. I said to Danny, I don't even know if I can say this, but anyway, I went, you wouldn't drink that. It must have been literally 3/4 of this like £4 bottle of champagne. And Danny's just on the front of the bus, necked a lot. But he was getting his ear transplant the next day.
Hello and welcome to Ironcast. What a special guest we've got this week, Ginge. How's this for an intro? West Ham's current longest-serving first-team player, approaching a decade with the Hammers. Second place on West Ham's all-time most Premier League appearance list, with 289 appearances. The 2015 Hammer of the Year, capped 3 times for his country, England, and how can we forget? 2023 UEFA Europa Conference League winner. Welcome to Ironcast, Aaron Cresswell. Welcome.
Pleasure.
Hello, mate.
Oh, man. Right, do you want to stitch each other up at all? Is there any...
I'll see what Ginger's got first.
No, we haven't got too much, have we?
I've got a couple.
Yeah,
Start off with Miami.
Yeah, we'll probably swerve that way. Let's swerve that way.
You've been at West Ham such a long time. You played with Ginge. 10 years.
Must be getting on, mate.
Getting on this summer.
It has. It's gone, too quick. It felt like literally a year ago. I remember joining Ginge and the characters we had when I joined, obviously Nobes, Carlton Cole, Ginge, Andy Carroll, to name a few. It was just, I remember coming into the team and it was just like, wow. Do you know what I mean? It was full of characters and we had a great British core, that year, and it was fun times. Yeah,
Big Sam in the dugout as well. British through and through.
Slumping down as the goals went in against us.
You've got a weird bit of history now, because I was looking at, you're the longest serving West Ham first team player, and it's you, Oggy and Mickey are the only ones who played at Upton Park, the current West Ham team. It's just a weird thing to think about, isn't it?
I think there's a few staff. I think like a few of the medical staff, there's a few of them left. Craig obviously come as well as but no, Upton Park was special, Ginge, wasn't it?
It was, mate.
It was just like, you just had a weird feeling. Like, as soon as I'm not saying we don't have that feeling now, but you were genuinely going into games. Doesn't matter whether it was Man City and they had some team back then, Liverpool, Man United, Chelsea. You were genuinely going into the game. We're going to win this game comfortably today. That's the feeling you had. Well, certainly I had that last year, Ginge, was special, wasn't it?
Yeah, I speak about it all the time. I don't know, you might be the same, Cres. I think, say 10 years' time, when people ask me, I'll talk about that last season at Upton Park, the last game there. It was something unbelievable. I know you started the game, I didn't start, but Cres is bang on. That feeling the place had. You sort of, I know it's an old cliche, you sort of felt like you was 1-0 up going, do you know the atmosphere when you're down, the tunnel was down and you'd hear the fans.
It was just like a proper stadium, wasn't it? Yeah, like just the atmosphere. You knew exactly what you were getting, whether it was a lesser team or a Tottenham at home, whatever. But that last year was special. Even the last game, the build-up, Ginge, when it going back to because I think we stayed in Canary Wharf, didn't we? Come through, and that road was like, I think the game got delayed, didn't it? Like an hour or an hour and a half. But yeah, I remember feeling the pressure, and I think that final last year was something special. But I don't know, there was just something about that night was that'll live. Both were incredibly highs, but that was just special. I remember seeing I think a lot of people have talked about it. You look in the crowd and there's literally a 50-year-old bloke just crying his eyes out, thinking obviously there's so much history there. It was just special.
I used to I loved it there because when we weren't playing well, West Ham players, we used to get a bit of stick as well, didn't you? Yeah. Didn't we? Yeah. Some players didn't like it. I quite liked it. Did you ever get a bit of stick on the far side?
Still do it now.
Not just there.
Yeah. It's interesting. You say, did you feel you had to win that game, the last game at Upton Park? Was it something the players were talking about?
Yeah, because again, there was so much history behind it, and you don't want to turn them lights off, and we'd just been beat or been slapped, and it was Man United, and they were top team at the time, and some fantastic players. Rooney, one that sticks out in my mind, and he just. We had a fantastic start. I think we went 1-0 up early on, James, didn't we? I think. And then they went 2-1 in front, and you're thinking, oh, God, here we go. There's still 20 minutes or so to go here. No, it was just like he wanted to give something back, and you didn't want to go out on a bad note, do you know what I mean? And, the performance, the atmosphere, and obviously the victory was special.
Can you remember aftermath? Can you remember being sat in the changing room for a while?
I think we got home, Ginge. We must have...
late home, because the game was late anyway. It
must have been like 2 or 3 o'clock. I got home just like... Everyone was just sat there, just talking.
Sat there
like,
for ages, chatting, telling stories, having a couple of beers. I remember being in there for ages after the game that night in the dressing room.
Yeah.
Well, some fans were helping themselves to mementos from the stadium. Did you help yourself? You got any mementos from Upton Park?
You know where he's from, don't you?
That's why I said no straight away. I'd have a few seats. No, I haven't. Looking back, I think I wish I'd took a couple of bits.
I think I think I've got a seat. I think my son had a seat or something, a sign or something. He's got up in his bedroom there. I think everyone was carnage. I think people smuggling screwdrivers into the game just to get stuff off the wall and that.
Yeah. So, like your first season, Chris, you played, I think, every game. You were Hammer of the Year, and what a start to your West Ham career.
Was that first season?
First season, yeah. No, I remember coming in, and you're always a bit. What are you going to play? You're not going to play. What's what? And my first game was against Tottenham at home. We got beat 1-0, and I managed to do well. I got man of the match, and I just remember thinking to myself, just, I know it's an old cliche, but take each game as it comes and just try and stay in a team. And I remember getting a couple of little niggles where I'm thinking I wanted it. It was like I don't know if it was the first or the second year actually I played. I think I missed one game in 2 years, my first 2 years. And I just wanted to not give any opportunity to lose, my shirt and stay in the team as much as I could. And, thankfully I stayed injury free and I managed to play. I think I missed one game in the first 2 years. So it was good, yeah.
Did you enjoy your time under Sam?
Yeah.
Sam?
Yeah.
Great time.
It's hard to kind of like, talk about, but off the pitch and, the things, the way he treats you and that side of it he was special. Obviously you played him longer than me, Ginge. We had some good times off it, didn't we?
A lot of people don't realise how big he was on his stats and that, do they, Sam? Whenever I speak about it, he knew everything, didn't he?
We used to have like I think it was every 6 games, Ginge, where he'd give you like, and he'd dangle a carrot and say, right, lads, these next 6 games, he'd ask the room, like, out of 6 games, how many points are we going to get against these teams? And the lads would come together and go, right, 12 points off these 6 games or whatever it was. And then if you met them targets, we'd either have a couple of more days off or whatever it was. We'd have a night out or he'd pay for the meal for the lads to go for some food or whatever. And then we'd have a review come the end of it. And it was like all the best bits of them 6 games. And as Ginge said, he was mad on stats and everything was done. He was behind the scenes. He was really, it was good. Ginge,
I think he's the only manager I worked for that did that. Like broke the season down into sections of games. Right, we get 12 points on this 8 games. And he was like, you'd go in. I remember going in, like say he'd dropped me or something like that. I hadn't played. You go in, ask the gaffer, why am I not playing? He would go bang, bang. You're not playing because these many headers you lost, you didn't win and he just knew everything.
He knew everything, then
mental. You
couldn't
have an argument.
Story, Ginge. Remember that time? It was my first year, obviously, and I think we played 10 games, and Sam wanted me to get it, drop off. I think we had Andy up top. I think it was Adrian in goal, maybe, and me dropping, a little bit deeper, or push up, drop off, get the ball off Adrian, turn and play it long. But we had Alex Song at the time, so we used to do it every Thursday. So I've dropped out what he wanted to do, and instead of playing it long to Andy, I've played it inside to Songy, who was obviously unbelievable on the ball, and he stopped the session. He's gone, what the F are you doing? I went, well, Songy's there, like, what, you want to play a 60-yard pass or whatever? And he went, oh, had a couple of good games, have you? And it was just like, but he just got you there to shoot you there, and then he was just like, and then that was it. It was like, he got everyone on board, everyone's laughing and joking and stuff, and no, he was brilliant.
Still really have nightmares about those defending sessions on a Thursday. He used to literally just get me ready, or the back four, whoever was playing in the day, on the Saturday. He'd get that back four and he'd get the rest of the boys on the halfway line just to shell balls at us. We'd just head them out as far. And he used to love it. And then he'd get
the young lads, like you'd have all the young whippersnappers who were like 19, fresh, trying to impress the gaffer. And this was 2 days before the game. And it's like attack v defence. It's like 2v4 or whatever. And you just, it's just the way he done it.
What about how buzzing he'd be? Because I could edit quite far. If I edit it far, he would. I've never seen a man so happy in all my life. Edit like 40 yards and he'd be buzzing.
Yeah. You bring it down on your chest and try and play.
No, I didn't like it, but
you edited 40 yards. That was it.
It's like when the players like talk about working with Big Sam, you just light up Like you enjoyed it. Did it work for you?
It was enjoyable, honestly. Like Cress says, he was a great man to be around. Off the pitch. Look, when he was on football, he was on it. He was very serious. But he'd be come in, say we'd lost a game, he'd come in on Monday, he'd ask you about your family. It wasn't all intense.
He had that balance, didn't he?
He had it perfect,
like,
didn't he?
when to pressure, like as in like be on you, and then also take a step back, put his arm around you, and that side of it. And then, as Ginge said, once training come, it was serious. Do you know what I mean? It wasn't just like a big joke and a laugh and all pally whatever. He was serious, like.
So, first season, Big Sam. Second season, Slav. And this is like, you've been a part of many great West Ham teams in the last 10 years, but that 2015, 2016, Dimitri Payet, Lanzini coming in, final season at Upton Park. Where does that stand in your best teams you kind of played in at West Ham?
I think, that was certainly up there because I think we had everything in terms of, again, we had that British core of, that held everyone together and set the work ethic of every day in training, going into the games. That team morale was, and we got everyone bought in, and then we had the likes of Manu, Dimmy,
Big Andy
Saka,
Carroll firing
Big Andy.
in the goals.
Do you know what I mean? It was just a special group to be around. You wasn't it?
So I say all the time, Dimmy was the best. We hadn't seen anything like him, really, did we?
I just remember that first couple of weeks. It was like in training. It's like, where's he come from? Because I think
did you know straight away? Was it obvious?
I'll be honest. I'd never really heard much of him.
Same
before that, and then, well, you must have seen it, Ginger. Over the years, when you sign players, all the lads are sitting back like, I wonder what he's like. Do you know what I mean? Let's see what he's like the first week. And I remember just thinking, where has this fella been? Do you know what I mean? Like, where have we got him from? Because he was like 28, 29, Ginger, wasn't he? So he's not at the back end, but he was.
But Manu as well, though.
Yeah, even
some of the stuff Manu
we got Manu from
was doing.
Dubai or somewhere, didn't we? Or Abu Dhabi?
Some of the stuff them two were doing in training around that time.
Every day was just like, you were scared to get near him because it was just like.
He just pop it through your legs, wouldn't it? And then he'd go back round and pop it through again just to take the out of you. Yeah. So I ended up smashing him.
Literally.
I mean, one of the things that the last season at Upton Park is like, everyone talks about it in the context of the last season at Upton Park, but there's an FA Cup run in there. Aaron, I wondered, is that a regret? Like losing to United, we beat them a few weeks later at the last game at Upton Park, but it felt like the way the draw went after that point, there was no big teams left. It felt like, was that a chance to win the FA Cup?
I think, if I can remember now, was it when we went to Old Trafford?
Drew 1-1.
And I think at the time, obviously, there wasn't VAR in that then.
Randolph
I think the goal should have been, disallowed.
Yeah,
and we'd have won. I forget the score now. We'd have won 1-0, was it? Is that right? So finish 1 or whatever to get the replay. And as you say there, the run, that could have been the year to push on and really have a right goal. But I don't know, I felt like we've always played United in the Cups over the years. You know what I mean? We seem to draw them all the time. But yeah, certainly that was the year, I think.
Yeah. So then we leave Upton Park, we come to London Stadium, and it felt like the players, it took, I don't know how you felt, you boys both felt like that transition from Upton Park and London Stadium, it felt like it took a while for the players to get used to. I heard rumours that the pitch was a bit bigger than we were used to. Or...
It felt like that,
I remember speaking to you, like when we were defending that listen, I think it would have, the transition for the fans, everyone would have been easier if the football was better on the pitch. We struggled, didn't we? We struggled big time that first year. Yeah. And I remember speaking to Cress and the boys at the back, it just seemed, it probably wasn't, probably the same size.
I think it was actually the same size as Upton Park, and you couldn't get your head around it, and you were like, Dougie the groundsman, we were like, I'm telling you now, it's not. But it was, you know what I mean? It was, I think. But like when you were defending,
the space that you were defending just seemed like, obviously not the quickest man in the world, so I'd let, sit a bit deeper, but it just seemed like there was space everywhere.
I think we spoke about, because I think we had green AstroTurf next to the pitch. So from this side, playing a diag, you could do it a lot, do you know what I mean? It was like, you couldn't kind of judge it, or it just looked like it was never ending, do you know what I mean? Yeah. And then I think they put the claret AstroTurf in and it made it look a bit...
And then I still kept kicking out of play.
Still kept find a new excuse.
Oh, it's not the grass then. Not the green Astro.
I mean, given how many great European nights we've had over there, I think as fans... London Stadium feels like home now. How does it feel for players now? Do you feel settled there?
I think we're definitely... Look, I think it was always going to be difficult going into a new stadium. Everyone's getting their own new seat, different parts of the stadium, totally different type of stadium. But I think certainly... Look, I think if you'd have asked any West Ham fan 8 years ago when we moved in, the European nights we've had, they'd have snapped your hand off for it. Yeah. So I think
that's what's made it more like home, and the young West Ham fans are now growing up in the stadium. It's home. the big nights the boys have had, the European nights, the big atmospheres. That's what makes a ground feel like home. And obviously, the more we have, the better it'll be.
Yeah. Let's talk about England. So around this time, like around the 2016, you get called up for England. You play, you make your debut against Spain. Then you go on, you start a game against Lithuania for the World Cup qualifiers in 2018. What did it mean for you to get called up?
It was crazy that year in pre-season. I thought you were still there, didn't you? I'd done my knee in a pre-season game and I smashed my MCL. And I was out for like 3 or 4 months. So that was in pre-season and I missed the first 3 months of the season. I come back, we played Crystal Palace away. And I remember setting Lanzini up. We played some lovely little stuff into Dimmy, switch out, and then Manu scored. And then after the game, I think an international break was coming up. I think it was in the November it would have been. I remember thinking, there was a couple of little rumours you hear, like, oh, you might be in a squad and this, and then I think they get like what is it, James? Like a pre-selected.
Yeah, they say there's like probably 30 players or something like that, and you were in that.
And I was in that, so then I'm thinking, oh, there might actually be a chance. And then I remember getting I think someone got injured. It might have been Danny Rose at the time, got injured. And I got a phone call. I remember clear as day. I was sat I lived in Loughton at the time. And I was sat in the loft playing my PlayStation. And I think Pinch rang me, Andrew Pincher here. And he said, I think you're in the England squad. And I was like, yeah, good one, mate. I'm just playing FIFA here. Ring you back type of thing. So then Southgate rang me. And he said, look, I've been watching you for a while now. You've been brilliant. Obviously, you've had the injury and all that. And, you're next in line type of thing. So you're coming down. And literally that night, I got picked up late. I'd say, I think it was about 7 o'clock. St. George's, and then in we went.
Wow. That could have easily been Snodgrass on that phone call, couldn't it?
Yeah, well, exactly that. That comes in your mind straight away. Someone's winding me up here.
On the wind up,
and then when obviously Southgate rang, I was like, oh my God, this is actually happening, this.
Wow.
And look, it was something, if I'm honest, that you don't kind of dream of it. I didn't think, I'd ever get that far in football. And it was just, it was a special night to have everyone down there.
Nervous?
Myself. I can't lie.
Where does it rank in the most nervous you've been in your career? Like what?
I think, it was definitely up there. I think it was more because in my mind, I'm trying to play it cool. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Like, I think everyone does that. Like, oh, I'm coming on against Spain or whatever. But I remember like my granddad, who's still alive now, but he's old, and he made the trip all the way down to London, which was special. And I remember just all my family upstairs, and I'm thinking, just don't know, do you know what I mean? And I'm just a bit like, I was all over the place. And no, look, I managed to get, I think it was about 20 minutes, I think. And then I play against Lithuania. I don't know if it was the same camp or it might have been the next camp, I think. Which was another special moment,
Yeah, man. Have you got those shirts, England shirts framed?
Yeah, I've still got them. Yeah, no, I haven't got them framed. I've still got them all in I think actually in a bin bag, I think.
Yeah, stuffed it. I was going to say, I went through my shirts the other day. I was like, you must have swapped some shirts or kept your Wales shirts. Yeah, I kept them all. They're literally stuffed in a bin bag.
Not even washed?
Probably not, no.
No, I've never washed any of them. No. I always keep wherever I've collected them.
Smells great, I bet.
Oh, man. So, like, after the 2017 to 2020, I was just thinking about it. It's like it's a bit of a wilderness period almost for West Ham. Like, we're kind of transitioning a little bit, and it's only when the gaffer David Moyes comes back for a second time, we're in a relegation battle. But then the club changes, and we spoke to Oggy about this, and he said it was just after the pandemic, a game against Chelsea, when Yarmo gets the last-minute winner.
Yeah.
And he said just something changed around the club.
There's a picture around of that goal, I think.
J-Mo's got it in his room. It's honest, if you see the picture, I think it was all like the background staff and, the lads that work here day in, day out and don't get the credit, I think they deserve. And there's a picture of Yarmo scoring and everyone just celebrating together. But I think the gaffer's in the background and Yarmo's obviously celebrating, but you can see everyone in the background. There's no one at the stadium. And I think Angelo's right. That was it felt like a turning point. And obviously we stayed up that year and it was special.
One highlight from that kind of 2017, 2020 period was the game at Stamford Bridge. Your goal to win 1-0, but that's not what claimed the headlines.
Dave Martin,
Martin. Man.
Yeah, no, I'm still really close with Dave now, and he bangs on about it all the time.
You would though, wouldn't you?
I was with him it was about 2 weeks ago, and we were just talking about something. Then all of a sudden, it was just about him playing against Chelsea. Do you know what I mean? He just any opportunity to bring it up to say it. But no, that was a special night for Dave. It was obviously Roberto had been going through a tough time, and then Dave come in. And I don't think he ever thought he was going to play for West Ham, in all honesty. I think he ended up playing about 5 or 6 games, Dave. And, to make your debut, Chelsea away, we were under pressure at the time as well. We were obviously fighting relegation. To keep a clean sheet and me to score my right foot was a special night.
I forgot that.
A clean sheet at Stamford Bridge or Cressy scoring with his right foot. I don't know which one.
But no, it was special.
Yeah. And then so we stay up 2020, we stay up, and then the 2020-21 season, I think we finished 6th. And the team from that night that Oggy talked about, that Chelsea game, we just turn around and we've almost been on the ascendancy ever since that, essentially. What changed at the club to I
don't know, something just kind of clicked together, and we had that again. We had that togetherness. Every game we were going into, we give everything we had, and we just went on a crazy run. And I remember, I think it was the second game of the season, Leicester away, was it 3-0, and then Wolves the second game 4-0, and it was just kind of momentum was building, and we just carried on throughout the season. And as you say, to finish 6th and get in the European spot was incredible.
And did you? I don't know. Just take it how you will. Did you see the club being this size when you joined? Do you know?
No.
Or they?
I always knew, Ginge. I remember again talking about being nervous. I remember myself coming in the Championship at Upton Park when I was at Ipswich. And it's always been been a massive club, but in terms of maybe what it is now, the size of the stadium, the fan base, and to have spent so long here to get to understand what it means to people and what it actually is, Ginge. And it's, it's a special club in many ways, but the size of it is huge.
It's been huge. Unbelievable, the rise in it since looking back. Do you ever train at Chadwell as well?
Yeah. So we were there.
So from there to even me now coming as a fan, seeing the size of the place, I don't think you always knew it had that potential. It was it's a massive club, but to get the rise it's been in what the boys have done in the last couple of years, European, it's unbelievable.
What can you say about these European nights, Chris?
They've been special. It's just again the rise from over the last 10 years, and it's been in a weird way. It's been a great time to see that side of it, to then come through the back of it and see this side of it. Which was, we've had some tough times in Jamie. Let's be honest. I think it was around 2020, was it? 2019. Obviously, Burnley at home was tough, and then to fight through all that and turn it around and come back and as you say, have these European nights was tremendous.
The Sevilla game, I find myself just going on YouTube. I'm sure many West Ham fans are like this, just reminiscing about those great European nights. But the Sevilla game, 1-0 down in the first leg, beating them 2-0. You played in that game. Yarmo and the Souček with the goals. The atmosphere that night is just...
No, it was that. I think that's certainly the best atmosphere I've put there at the stadium, I think. Or I can't think of many better than that at the London Stadium. Sorry, was just different, and them European nights you just can't beat them. Certainly on a Thursday night is.
How have you? I've always wondered this because they didn't do it too much. How do you know when we were in Europe? How did you find the Thursday, Sunday, the games?
I think it's a psychological thing where people. Yeah, I think the first year, Ginge, everyone's buzzing anyway, so it's not like I think for the boys who do it every single year, it can definitely take its toll. But I think it's been fine. Yeah.
Now, obviously, that first season in Europe, if we're talking about it from end to end, we've got to eventually get to the couple of red cards you got on the way.
Couple, yeah.
What was that?
2,
yeah, of course.
Do you know what? So I went back and watched them again just to remind myself. And now we've got the distance of time, and it's all kind of fine. We've won a European trophy. They're not red cards. I think they're really harsh.
Certainly the Lyon one was the one that really me off, if I'm honest. I don't think it was ever a red, and to do it again, against Frankfurt was hard to take, and in all honesty, it was the lowest point I think I've had.
Yeah.
I remember it was kind of, so obviously the Lyon one happened, which I didn't think was a red, and then on the flip side of that, we travelled to Lyon away for the second leg.
I was going to say, did you really want us to win that?
100%, not even
getting back
nothing else crossed my mind. It was I remember Jono played left back, I think, and he was unbelievable in that leg, and the atmosphere again there was the tension was high. Do you know what I mean? And the lads were unbelievable, to be fair. And I think obviously Big Door scored, Deck scored. And it was just
Jared
a special
as well.
night. I was obviously there with the lads, travelled with them, and it was incredible.
So much of the social media stuff was like justice for Cress, like
justice. No, because I think Dembele,
he
actually winked at the camera or the bench, whatever it was.
Well, after he got you sent off?
Yeah, straight after it. So that kind of done me head in it even more. Do you know what I mean? So wanting obviously to knock them out in the next round. And then the Frankfurt one was hard to take. It was horrible because we were obviously 1-0 down already, up against it, going into the second leg away, which is always, tough.
The ref gives a yellow.
The ref gave a yellow.
Did
so
you think
No, to be fair, in that moment I thought, I've got away with this. And then I realised, no, there's VAR. So then once it went to VAR, I knew I was last man, do you know what I mean? It was just one of them things where it, obviously last man, red card, and I was absolutely devastated. But there's one thing that I remember most was the Sunday. So that was on a Thursday. We stayed over that night. I remember there was me, Nobes, Dorse, Dex, Dave Martin, Brian Fredericks, John O. I don't know if I've missed any of the lads out. We stayed up till about 4 o'clock in the morning and we just got absolutely rotten. And we had a game on a Sunday. So it was the only way we could deal with it. Do you know what I mean? Getting knocked out. It was towards the end of the season. And we played the Norwich on a Sunday. I remember thinking, it's horrible for me. I'd just been sent off. Yeah. And to be fair to the gaffer, I'm thinking, that's me done with the gaffer. Do you know what I mean? He's going to be so off. And I played on the Sunday against Norwich away. And I remember going into the game just thinking, this is horrendous. And the start of the game, the West Ham fans sang, my name and my song or whatever. And it was just, that was the turning point for me inside where I thought that was special. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. It meant a lot. But it was tough to take.
I think when you get sent off in such a game like that, how horrendous is it when you're sat in that dressing room on your own after you've been sent off?
You did a big Wales game, didn't you?
Well, James, this is the funny one.
Belgium.
We can laugh about it now, but the gaffer got sent off, didn't he?
Oh yeah, it's not just you and the gaffer.
No one even knows this. I don't think I've ever spoke about it. So I've been sent off and I'm sat there and I'm absolutely devastated. And I just heard the doors come down and I looked to me right and it's the gaffer. So obviously he doesn't even want to look at me. I've been sent off and I looked at him and just put my head back down thinking, sake, do you know what I mean? What's happened here? And then obviously after it all, I got sent off, the gaffer got sent off and it was just a horrible, horrible moment.
Horrendous.
Oh man. But what was the post-game chat in the dressing room? Was there anything at all?
No, I think we could still be proud of what we'd achieved that year. It was, as I say, it was a tremendous run in Europe, and it was just, I think, looking back now, the 1-0 defeat at home. Oh, was it 2-1? Sorry, 2-1 was it? 1-0. We lost by one goal. Was it?
Yeah.
2-1. I think maybe, it was. I think if we'd have went into it, in a better situation, it might have been, a different outcome. Or, if I wouldn't have got sent off, it might have been a different outcome. Who knows? But I think we can look back and be proud of that year.
And look at the foundations it laid for what we achieved the following year in the Conference League. There's one moment I want to ask you about before we get to Prague and the semi-final you played in, which is Lucas Paquetá doing the skill while you're on the bench.
Was that where he's
Ginge, the mad thing about it, right?
Good.
I think we were just, I forget who it was, I think it was Thomas, I think Kate, it might have been, someone sat next to me on a bench. And obviously Lucas was, when he's full of confidence, you just know he's up for it and something's going to happen. So I remember shouting, he most probably wouldn't have understood a word I said to him, do you know what I mean? I've just shouted, show me something, literally a minute before it. But obviously he most probably doesn't know. And as the ball's come across, he's done this nutty skill and I've just gone ballistic on the bench, do you know what I mean? I know everyone was buzzing with it, but no, he's got that. You should see him in training. He's special, He's special.
So like the Conference League, you played in many important games that season, but the semi-final, Alkmaar, 1-0 up, I think, in the first leg, and we go to their place. Atmosphere is just crackling. Where does that rank in how nervous you were before a game? And what happened the previous year?
Weirdly, I don't think we were that nervous for that game. For some, I don't know, we just felt so confident going into the game that we beat them. I'm sure there was a bit of nerves there, but I don't know, I just felt we were always going to win that game. They were a lovely footballing team, but I just felt we had too much for them. And then obviously the scenes after the game was mental, wasn't it?
Yeah, carnage. Yeah. Was your family there, Craig?
No one was there. I remember just seeing Flynn, and I was thinking, I remember just trying to grab Flynn and get him back. Do you know what I mean? It was just chaos, but it was we can laugh about it now. And it was a good joke after it. Do you know what I mean? But no, that was that was another special night coming in after changing room and seeing those with a big
nose with a crate. It's the best thing he's ever done for his club.
It's pulled off to one side. It's so good.
Yeah.
There's a picture at London Stadium. I don't know if you've been to where the room where they have the press conferences in. It's you holding the Conference League trophy, like just screaming. It's huge. It's like 6 foot tall.
I haven't seen this. No,
man, it's such a good
I think
picture.
you're with the family.
It's opposite where the gaffer does his press conferences after the game.
I don't know.
Like in the London Stadium.
Players' lounge, is it?
It's in the media lounge. So
I've not been in there. I don't know. No.
You've got to go out your way. It's
no,
6 foot tall. It's huge, and it's.
I'll be nicking that.
Here we go again.
I just think it's such.
Might have to borrow your Land Rover, Ginger.
In some ways, I think it's the perfect picture of the last 10 years you've been here, because of the story we've been through over the last 10 years, and you in particular, what you've given to this club, and just you can see what it means to you as an individual, as a player, to have lifted that trophy.
No, I think going back to that night, I think everything just come out to me. I was actually crying. I had my little boy there, I had all my family there, and even now I'm getting, hairs on the back of my neck. But I think it was just kind of like over the last 10 years, everything just come out, the highs, the lows, what we'd been through, what we'd achieved, the relegation battles, all that kind of just comes out. Do you know what I mean? I don't know how to, put the words right, but to lift that trophy was amazing. It was amazing, yeah.
There's another picture, actually, now I'm thinking about it, in the kind of family room at London Stadium. There's you with your kids and the trophy. Man.
Yeah, that was, because I'd never won a trophy of that, that kind before. And it was just, I think he had about 15 people at the stadium, travelled to Prague. And of course I didn't play, but, I was devastated at the time. But the bigger picture was, West Ham lifting that trophy, and, we managed to do that. And, Emmy had a great night. I thought he was man of the match. And to celebrate after it was some 3 or 4 days.
I was going to say, we've got to get on to it.
I don't know if anyone's actually... So we obviously had the final. Wait there, let's go back. The gaffer took us to Portugal.
Yeah, he speaks about this, the gaffer. The gaffer thinks...
That's where we won it. Ginger, I'm telling you now.
That's exactly what the gaffer said.
That's where we won it.
Yeah.
We went for 5 days, and the gaffer's brilliant with stuff like that, do you know what I mean? Went to Portugal for the 5 days. Went, right, lads, it's a team bonding session, but we're training as well. So there was obviously me, Danny, Dex, Flynn, I think it was having a 4-ball, and it was right up after it. So I don't think the pictures or the videos have ever come out, but I've got loads on my phone to show you after it. So it was just everyone, staff, players, everyone connected together, all in, like, the gaffer had hired the restaurants out. We had a big meal, loads of drinks, everyone's up singing and dancing.
I was going to say, you made us, like we done in Miami years ago. Made us sing,
it was special, and that's for me, that's where we won it. So then we get to the final, we wins the final. We obviously, Big Tom and Vlad take us out in Prague. We had a few nights, a few hours out in Prague, and then we all went back to the families. Then on the Thursday, we had the parade. Yeah. So everyone's back on it, on the parade, on the bus. And there's one thing that always sticks out to me, I can say it. Danny had someone gave us these cheap bottles of, like, champagne or whatever it was. And I remember sat in the front of the bus with Danny, and we'd obviously all been drinking. I said to Danny, I don't even know if I can say this, but anyway, I went, you wouldn't drink that. It must have been literally 3/4 of this, like, £4 bottle of champagne. And Danny's just on the front of the bus, necked a lot. But he was getting his ear transplant the next day. So he said the next day, the surgeon or whatever you want to call it, said, he said, I think, don't be drinking too much. So he's obviously had the ear transplant the next day, and his head just wouldn't stop bleeding. But no, it's all worked out for him. He's got a great barnet now. So then we had that on a Thursday. Friday morning, we all flew out to Pablo's wedding.
Yeah.
So it was just like 3 days of, it was, the best 3 days.
You must have been hanging.
So then we obviously had Pablo's wedding in Spain. So we had to fly to Spain. We had to be at Heathrow for like 6 o'clock in the morning. There was like 8 of us on the plane. We all flew over. And then had to fly back on Saturday. And it was just, I remember getting home, we had all ulcers in my mouth. And I couldn't even open my eyes. It was like I had about 6 hours sleep in 3 days.
I mean, you'd expect it though, wouldn't you? Haven't won a trophy for that long and do that.
Yeah, it was incredible.
Did you? Like, I was out there in Prague, then I helped them see the kind of the trophy parade, and there was, I don't know if you found this, but there was like, because it was like 3 days of carnage, and then maybe when you got home on the Saturday and then suddenly you're alone, you're like, what happened?
Like, it was weird. I kind of like, I don't think I went away for about 4 or 5 days after that Saturday, and I remember just sitting there, just like what now? You're not depressed, but like you've gone from such a high for 3 days. to just write like, football's over now and I've got to go on holiday and spend time with the kids. No, I'm joking. No, but it was like kind of one of them, do you know what I mean? And it was but I'd give anything to go back for them 3 days, for sure.
Oh, man. Tell me about like the scenes, seeing that many, being on top of the bus, see as far as the eye could see, West Ham fans.
Again, Ginge, going back to how big the club is and, you know, the stature of it and the history behind it. And you're half thinking, you know, we're going from Upton Park into Stratford. Is there going to be that many people there? Do you know what I mean? What's it going to be like? We haven't won a trophy for 50 years. Do you know what I mean? Or a European trophy, sorry. And the turnout, it genuinely felt like there was 1 million people there. Like, it was just never ending. Yeah. And I remember, I don't know why, one fella ran the whole length from Upton Park to Stratford, stayed with us the whole way. I don't know what he'd been taking. We were laughing at him, do you know what I mean, the whole way. Just chucking him like scarves and like bottles and that. And but it was, again, that was just incredible.
Yeah. And now this season, back in European football, your goal against Freiburg in the 5-0 demolishing. Another moment where you just couldn't hide how you felt, like the celebration. What did that tell us about that goal? What it meant?
It was just another special. I feel like I've said that so many times on this podcast. It's like, it was amazing. Do you know what I mean? We were 2-0 up, and you know that goal kind of took the pressure off type of thing. And to score in any European competition is amazing. And I remember it coming to me on the edge of the box. I'm thinking,
you're going to hit it first time.
Ginger, I thought I'm going to hit this, but it kind of it come in with. So it was like, I think if I hit it, there was a good chance I was going to drag it and pull it wide. And I remember taking the touch, thinking, should I have took this? And then it just opened up. Everything was just like in slow motion type of thing, and I had so much time, and I managed to pick the bottom corner and
great finish,
run off with a great smile. And I remember Dex sent me a voice note after this saying, mate, what are you doing? Giving a knee slide, you're nearly 40, you need to calm down.
You got to be careful at your age.
I was just I was so happy to score.
Yeah, I love it. I love it when a player scores, you can just see what it means.
I think especially, for defending, we don't score a lot,
that's
do we?
Exactly that. That
feeling,
I
didn't know what to do when I scored. I was just like,
I remember your one at Chelsea, Ginge, was it the little swivel?
The little swivel.
It was like, what are you going to do here?
Yeah, just like put your arm.
Because you don't really...
Shearer.
Yeah, you haven't got time to think of, right, I'm going to do this celebration like, Antonio's a madman and he does all sorts. But yeah, we very rarely score. So you're in shock and you don't
know what to do, do you?
You've scored some unbelievable goals for West Ham, like mainly free kicks. Is that the best goal for Freiburg? You've got, off the top of my head, the Everton free kick, United free kick.
Yeah, the United one was most probably the best one I scored, or Leicester away.
Oh yeah,
it was on the edge of the box, like a volley type of thing. But no, the Freiburg one was.
You've got no chance of getting on free kicks anymore.
Nah, Prowse, no.
I've seen you stand next to Prowse. I can't play first. I've seen you sit next to him a couple of times. I'm thinking in my head, Cressy, you might as well just go.
No,
back,
you see him in training, and over the years he's got some delivery.
Yeah.
And, he is genuinely. People talk about him. I genuinely put him up there with Beckham, if not better, and I genuinely mean that.
Yeah. I was asking around like things to ask you, and someone mentioned that Craig Dawson. I heard the story that you were rooming, but you weren't rooming together. But
I wouldn't room with him if you paid me all the money in the world. To be fair, I get a decent sleep.
Dawes, tell me a couple of stories, mate. I'm not going to go sleep.
Let's just hammer him, because he is the tightest man in the world. Have you come across him I don't think you would have really, but
against him.
Anything to save a pound note, he would do it.
Yeah,
He's just like...
Obviously sponsored by Adidas. Did he raid the minibar in hotels? He'd come away with carry bags of Red Bulls and stuff.
Who's told you this?
I've got my spies.
Is he a bit shy at the bar?
You don't go to the bar to buy them. You don't even turn up. But no, we used to obviously sponsored by Adidas, so we get these packages sent with Adidas, and he would wear Adidas. He's actually I've never even seen him. Ginger's the only person to wear Adidas jeans. Get on that.
Really?
I've never seen a pair of Adidas jeans.
Jesus. It's quite something, that is.
Yeah, mate. He's a great fella. Great fella, yeah.
I think he was unbelievable signing for us, but it was 3 mil, wasn't he?
I think it was
£3 million. I thought he was.
Well, he come on loan originally first, I think.
Yeah.
And he wasn't actually playing the first couple of months, I think. And then I think Angelo done his knee.
Yeah.
Angelo done his ACL. And then from when he come in to when he left, he was unbelievable. And he's one of them players who'd play through any type of injury, and you chuck an oven in there, he's heading it back out. You know what I mean?
Wally Downs used to say that.
No, he was. I think he he was just a top defender. Do you know what I mean? A bit kind of underrated, where people don't give him the respect I think he deserves.
Yeah,
definitely.
And so this season, got another European run, big games at Leverkusen coming up, and we're doing well in the league. How do you how are you feeling about this season?
No, I think the season's been good. Do you know what I mean? In terms of, you know, the European campaign couldn't have gone any well. Obviously, we're still in the quarterfinals. Still plenty to play for, and certainly in the league, you know, there's 9 games to go. I think now. Then we want to be pushing for that European spot again, and I don't see why we can't.
This squad you're in now, Cress, this year's squad, do you think it's the best you've been in? As in,
talent-wise, I think Ginger, some of the players we've got is, I think, Mo Kudus at the minute.
Yeah.
Ginger, even today, I've just trained with him, mate, and you just don't
He's
want to
so
go
sharp,
near him.
I'm
up against him all the time as well, and I'm like, Mo, get over to the left. Do you know what I mean?
Go the other side.
But he's no, I think he's a top talent.
Yeah.
And I think we haven't seen the best of him yet. I really like that goal he scored against Freiburg. I think he's got plenty more of that. I really exciting. Do. I think he's going to be top.
We were asking Prowse about him, and he was saying, like, you don't realise how strong he is.
You cannot, like, that's getting back to it. I won't go near him in training. No, because I know Ginger, like, if I'm going to try and knock him off the ball, I better make sure he's not looking and he doesn't see me coming. Because if he's got his, like, you know, you just can't get near him. Like, he's so strong, so quick, so sharp. He's unplayable at times.
Oh man. So 10 years, like Dick says, you're nearly 40. You're not. You turn 35 at the end of the year.
35, mate. Where's it gone?
Fast, mate.
10 years. Fast. How you feeling? What does the future hold?
I don't know. I really don't know. But look, I'm loving every minute I've spent here, and as I say, I'll give everything when called upon. If I'm not playing, you know, I'll be the best possible number 2 I can be, and I'll be cheering the boys on. I'll give everything I've got in training, and come the games, I'll give my best, and I think that's all I can do.
And I think as well, like right at the start, we read out all this amazing stats from your career. I think there's no finer ambassador for the future for West Ham than you. You've won a trophy, all these Premier League games. Ginger's in there now. He's an ambassador. I can see it for you.
It depends if we're going on a drink, Ginger.
What do you reckon?
Yeah, no, look, it's been 10 years. It's just gone so fast. You know what I mean? Yeah. And mentioning the highs and the lows along the way, I think that European night last year was just summed everything up, and hopefully we've got many more.
Yeah. We're lucky. You think of lucky. I'm putting myself in this. I was here 10 years, 11 years. Winston, yourself. Yeah. We've had a lot of players over the last that we know that have been here a long, long time. And you know, like I said, I echo what Cress said. When you come to this football club, there's something about it.
No, but I think all that going back to it. Sorry, Ginger. It's all part of that final as well. Do you know what I mean? I'm not saying that's that's it. Now everything's fine. The part of the progression we've gone through, Ginge, the highs and the lows, to get us to this. You know, it's all been stepping stones each year, some lower than others. So I think it's all been building up, and that's the top of the mountain type of thing. But there's we want to go again. We want to we want to keep, and I'm sure the fans do.
Man, what a journey! What 10 years!
Can we talk about the Barnet?
Yeah, I mean,
ain't changed a bit.
It might be going a bit grey on the side.
I actually asked some of my mates who are West Ham fans, I was like, what do you want to know from Cress? And they're like, why is his hair always so perfect? Immaculate. And even today, you've come in from training, it's it's blowing, it's windy.
It's been raining outside, windy. I've got this special, Danny uses it now because he's got a Barnet.
Is he?
This special hairspray or whatever it is, gel. And it's just, as soon as it goes on, it's a nightmare getting it out. Like, but once it's on, it's sound, you know what I mean? But no, all good.
Yeah, immaculate Barnet. All right, we're going to end with mystery player.
Mystery player?
You haven't been briefed on this, have you, Chris?
No.
Okay, hang on.
So are we doing it together, me and Cress?
So does Ginge know this? No.
No, I don't know it.
So this is the game. I'm going to give you a series of clues. Former teammate.
Who we've both played with?
Both play. You're on the same team.
Oh.
You both played with this person. Okay. Going to give you 5 clues. You got to see if you can get the mystery player. All right. Clue number 1 is played alongside Ginge and Cressy. Okay, so you play like there you go.
Yeah,
okay.
can't get it from that.
Second clue. I've played for clubs in England, France, Switzerland, and Turkey. What are we saying?
Switzerland, France,
England, France, and Switzerland, and Turkey.
Diafra Sacho?
Correct, Chris. Unbelievable knowledge. You get a round of applause.
I tell you what, you are some busy.
Yeah.
You know, some stuff that is unreal. You play FIFA too much.
Give us a Sacco story.
Is that it? Just one?
Yeah, no, well, there's plenty more clues.
I've got a great story for Sacco.
Go on, give me.
So, he's fairly new to England. He's obviously signed a decent contract. You know what I mean? He's got a few quid. He's gone and bought a brand spanking new Lamborghini.
Yeah, I remember.
And writ it off within 6 days.
6 days, wasn't it? Did he not leave a Lambo here as well?
Then he's obviously writ that one off. He's then got a replacement. Did he leave? I think he left. And I promise you now, the Lamborghini did not move for 6 months.
He was there I remember he just left the Lamborghini here.
So he'd left the club,
disappeared.
left the Lamborghini there, and it did not move for 6 months.
Oh my!
We come in every couple of weeks.
Would have been in that.
Is someone going to take this or what? Give me the keys. I'll take it back to the building.
Yeah. Check us the keys. I tell you what, he could score a goal.
He was a great lad, and I thought his first year was unbelievable. Ginge, wasn't he?
I tell you what, as well,
run the channel and just
bit of a madman, eh?
I was a lunatic.
You could sort of like
get on the wrong side.
No, got on the wrong side. Like you'd half elbow him or elbow him a couple of times in training. You just see his eyes go.
Yeah,
and you're thinking, I don't want to mess with this.
Yeah, that switch, didn't he? Of just like, I'll leave him over there. I'll go this way.
He could go at any minute, this boy, but he could score a goal. Yeah. Jesus.
Well, I'll read out the remaining clues for Sacco. I became the first West Ham player to score in 6 straight Premier League games. I scored West Ham's 3rd goal in a game against Liverpool, which was our first win at Anfield in 52 years. I played for Senegal at the 2018 World Cup. There you go, Diafra Sacco. Cress, thank you so much. Not just for this interview, which I've really enjoyed, but for the last 10 years.
No,
mate, what a storied career. And also, you need to write a book.
I don't know about that.
That's coming.
I could fill. Well, I don't know.
You could tell a Miami story in your book.
Yeah, that could.
I'll let you tell you that.
You'd be the headline of that one.
Yeah, that'd be. That'd sell the copies on its own.
That was some trip, James, wasn't it? Some trip. I don't think I can quite say on camera.
I'll tell the story quickly. The gaffer was the manager, right?
Here we go.
And it was a similar sort of trip.
I'll have my little 10 pencil on.
Yeah, see what he says about it. We had one of these trips where the gaffer, we trained, but the gaffer let us have a bit of fun, a couple of beers and all that. So this one night, we all went out, got fairly well oiled, put it that way, but we're training the next morning. So in my head, the gaffer put everyone who was slightly more hungover than on one team compared to the other team. So I've had a moan up, pop at the gaffer, like shouting, he's shouting back at me, and a couple of swear words come at me and the gaffer. So anyway, after training, I'm now panicking. I've had
wait there, Ginger's proper hungover, like aggressively hungover, like back and forth. Do you know what I mean? And all of us are just stood there, just like laughing. Do you know what I mean? You can imagine us and Ginger's just like, why have you put all the lads together? Do you know what I mean? Anyway.
So, done this. So after training, I'm now paranoid, proper paranoid. I've been shouting with the gaffer, body, bar. Not known to me, him, Andy, Carroll, I don't know who else it was, Nobes, have got together. I don't know if you did it or were going to do it. They were going to send a bunch of flowers to the gaffer saying, to gaffer, I'm sorry, love Ginge.
We were that close to doing it and we just thought, no, it might not go down well. But for that whole day, you were just so paranoid. I think you had to go and apologise, didn't you? Just to clear his mind.
My own head from it. Like,
couldn't let it go.
Oh, jeez.
Basically all the British lads who were all the night before, wasn't it? And a couple of the lads who don't drink or whatever.
I think you told me originally that you did send the flowers. You would send.
No, I think
flowers.
we did say we'd sent them. So we made him obviously. Now how am I going to get out of this? I'm going to say to the gaffer, look, boss, I'm sorry, but them flowers aren't from me. Do you know what I mean? They've just been awkward.
To the gaffer, I'm sorry, love you. Yeah. Oh dear.
I wish we did.
What a stitch up. Brilliant.
But we came back from that trip and won 3 or 4 on the bounce.
Yeah. So just a quick, without just to let you go. We come back, played Southampton at home. Yeah. London Stadium. The previous one, we'd obviously the Burnley disaster, whatever. With 3-0 up at half time. So you're thinking this trip, Miami trip, couldn't have gone any better. 3-0 up at home to Southampton. The gaffer comes in at half time, I don't remember Ginge, and he goes, right lads, keep a clean sheet. You can have Monday off as well. So the lads are like buzzing. And I remember there's a clip, please tell me if you can find it, because I've been looking for it for years. Tadic was at Southampton at the time. And Nobes, for whatever reasons, end up pulling over onto my side. We're trying to held on to this 3-0. Do you know what I mean? We want the Monday off. And Nobes is given everything to try and stop Tadic crossing the ball. But Tadic is one of the best players at chopping it. So he goes to cross it, chops, Nobes dives in, gets up, goes to cross it again, chops, Nobes dives in again. there's 3 times, so still to this day, me and Nobes laugh about it all the time. So you need to find a clip. But we managed to win 3-0 and get the Monday off.
But that's them trips though. Yeah. Sam used to do them as well.
I think they're so. And I don't.
And you mentioned the one before the final.
That's what I mean. It's so important just to get that team spirit and togetherness. Because sometimes, like, you know, it doesn't matter what team or dressing room you go around. It's not that you don't speak to the other lads. You just sit with the lads who either speak the same language or who are in your little close circle. Do you know what I mean? We all get on together great and everything. It's just, that's just naturally what I think any workplace is like that. Do you know what I mean? So them trips, when you're in a room or a restaurant and there's nowhere to go and you're all together, it's just special, you know.
There's no coincidence I didn't get a contract at the end of that year. That was my West Ham career over.
At least you went out on a high.
I went out on a high.
Went out on a high. Did they send you any flowers though?
No.
Brilliant, Cress. Thank you so much.
Cress,
and thank you for listening as well. We'll see you next week on Ironcast. Until then, come on, you Irons.